Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the video. This video is all about dealing with your ish. I guess I put it. I didn't want to curse. I'm trying not to curse too much, but dealing with your ish. Ish meaning your past childhood wounds, trauma, dramas, whatever word you want to use for them. And how, if you don't deal with those things, they show up in your relationships in different ways. And I'm talking about romantic relationships in this particular video. And what I've been, of course, y'all know I've been talking about going to therapy and that kind of thing in several videos before this. Of course, I'm still going to therapy, but one of the things that was brought up this week was, or this session rather, was something that I never even thought that even mattered. I guess I put it that way. No, but I didn't think that it mattered, but I didn't recognize my own pattern when it came to my own behaviors and how it was showing up in my relationships. I know I grew up way early. I was a kid, of course, in first grade, second grade, but I was the adult in the household. And I think I may have told y'all some of this before. My parents were on drugs, and it was my father was very abusive and that kind of thing. And of course, I had to fend for myself. I guess I put it that way most times, or at least 95% of the time. And I had to grow up very early. And some of y'all, I'm sure, can identify with that. Even if your parents were there and something else was going on, I'm sure you could identify with growing up very early. Before you even got to become 10 years old, I'm pretty sure. Some of y'all definitely can identify with that, ladies. And what I know is that what I realized, I guess, I'm still journaling on it, so I'm not done with it yet, that kind of thing, but just trying to see how this fits into the bigger picture, so I can start working on these things. But like I said, growing up in that kind of environment, like I said, forced me to become the adult very early in life. And out of survival, out of doing what I had to do, I had to, of course, like I said, be the adult. And that showed up in all the relationships that I was in, of course, whether it was work, whether it was with neighbors, whether it was with, I guess, romantic or whoever it was with. I'm always, or have been, the mothering type. Even though I have no kids of my own, but I've been the mothering type, want to take care of everybody and help everybody. And I'm a social worker, so I mean, that's what I do as well as a job, but just want to help and assist everybody with their issues, what's going on, that type of thing. This kid is hungry, let me get some food, or whatever the case may be. And like I said, how I'm realizing that it's showing up in my relationships, or have shown up in my relationships, as a mothering kind of energy as well. And I know there are some women out there, of course, a lot of women who probably grew up like I did, had to grow up fast, or just have that loving, caring, mothering energy in everything that they do as well. And like I said, I'm realizing, as when the therapist was asking questions on this past week, I'm sitting up here like, okay, is this really what's going on? I mean, I'm just thinking about it because I'm like, okay, is that me? Which deep down, I know, I guess, what he was saying. I guess I put it that way as well. But like I said, I'm still dwelling on this. I'm still thinking about this, still trying to see how this is playing out and that kind of thing, and seeing how to change things moving forward. I guess I put it that way as well. Because, of course, the conversation is going to be had in my relationship and that kind of thing, too, once I figure out what it is that I'm doing and have been doing. And like I said, this is something that is not just this relationship. It's been all my past relationships, as I sat down and journaled about it yesterday. And like I said, I definitely want to share that with somebody this morning, because I know I'm not the only woman who does this in relationships. I guess have that mothering energy and want to take care of the partner and want to do this and want to do that. But what I know and what I'm understanding and what I've seen, or what I've seen in my past relationships as well, is that me doing that does not allow them to grow in their relationship either. And that was hard for me to take in. And I know that's probably hard for you to hear too, ladies. I'm pretty sure that. Because that's just our temperament. Most women, that's how we come off. That's just our energy. Because that's how we're raised and that's how we're socialized. So like I said, this is just the beginning for me. Like I said, once I, of course, have the conversations that need to be had and figure out first figure out how it looks on my end and what it is that I'm doing that's creating this type of dynamic over time, because it does not happen just in one day or the first day y'all meet. It happens, I guess, over the years in your relationship, is what I've seen and what I'm figuring out in my own relationships. Because I've had, let me see, I guess I just picked the major. I've had 3 major long-term relationships. I've had others. I'm not going to say I didn't care about the others, but those long-term relationships, Like I said, you see, over the years, that's what kind of dynamic has grown in my relationships. I guess I put it that way. And like I said, I'm sure there's other women who can, if they're willing to identify with it and willing to, of course, admit to it. And you don't have to tell nobody. That kind of thing is up to you. But like I said, definitely this is the way that I get things out as well. And this is the way that I can heal moving forward and work on things moving forward and hold myself accountable moving forward. And like I said, this is just the way that I do things. You don't have to do it this way. I'm journaling as well. But like I said, definitely, I had to, like I said, bring this forth this morning because I know I'm not the only one who've had trauma in the past, childhood wounds that's caused you to be the person who wants to take care of everybody. The person who wants to show up for everybody and help everybody and save everybody is the word that my therapist pointed out to me on the other day. And I just put, I don't know if y'all remember E40. Some of y'all probably do. Y'all probably not my age. I don't know. But if you listen to rap music, I know there was a song that E40 had called Captain Save a Hoe. I'm not saying that everybody's hoes. I'm not saying that. But it just reminded me of that when I said that, actually. Because that's what he was talking about kind of in that song, too. Trying to save everybody, be all the superwoman and be the Superman and do all this stuff. But just know, like I said, I know that now that while I had to use those skills and those the things I learned to, of course, help me survive and to, of course, get through the hard times that I had to get through, that is not needed in every relationship at all. Maybe with the kids and that kind of thing, yes, I'm sure they'll love that. But other than an actual adult, when you're in an adult relationship, that kind of energy is not needed 100% of the time. Maybe 40% of the time, 30% of the time, or because everybody wants to be loved on and cared for, supported, or that kind of thing. But like I said, I had to realize that my patterns in relationships are what it has been. When I'm helping call myself saving somebody, or whether I'm supporting and helping coach and providing coaching to, I guess, to my partner or the person that I'm with. And like I said, those are the distinctions that we talked about this week on therapy. And like I said, I just want to share this with you all. Because I know, ladies, like I said, we have that mothering energy. That's just how we're socializing. That's how we're raising. That's how it comes out a lot. Probably 85% of the time with us. And I know I'm not the only one out there that's probably wonder what it is in relationships, what's going on, why the dynamic over the years changed. And is it me or is it them or is it both? Usually it always say it takes two to tango. So it's both. Well, in my situation right now it's just the one, but it is technically both. I guess I say that because it always takes two to tango. If my behavior wasn't rubbing off on somebody, they wouldn't change. I guess I put it that way. Or the dynamic wouldn't shift. I wouldn't say they wouldn't change. People change whenever they want to change, but the dynamic wouldn't shift. So of course it's on both, but it's probably, I'm sure, 90% on me with this particular situation. But like I said, that's something that I had to face. And like I said, I just wanted to share that with y'all this morning. Because like I said, I know I'm not the only woman out there wondering what happened. Why every relationship I get in, the dynamic seems to change. So like I said, definitely, like I said, I'm still journaling about this and wondering what my part, I guess 100% is and that kind of thing, and how to, of course, start making the small changes to, of course, create a different type of dynamic. I guess I put it that way. The other relationships I can't do nothing about, but I can, of course, start making some changes within the relationship that I have right now. Even though it won't be drastic changes or that kind of thing, and that's fine, because I think our dynamic is fine, but I'm noticing what I'm doing in this relationship too. And I definitely do not want to stunt my man's growth at all. Don't want to stunt his growth or treat him like a child or a kid, or I don't want to do that at all. And when I look back at my other relationships, I have seen, as I look back and realize the patterns and the behaviors and the dynamics, I can see some of that. So like I said, y'all, I want to just share my honesty this morning and share what I'm seeing, because like I said, I know it can help somebody else out there too. So y'all, with that, like I said, and let me know in the comments, ladies, if you've noticed this type of dynamic in your relationship. And if you're currently working on this and what you're doing, I guess if you are. So like I said, it may help me and it may help somebody else as well that's currently wondering what to do, what's going on. And I kind of know what to do at this point, but like I said, I don't have all the answers all the time at all. And I don't have 100% of the answers. So I'm pretty sure y'all have some other ways that y'all are doing things that could possibly, like I said, help me and help others out there too. So like I said, definitely let us know in the comments. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, y'all. Have a great day. Today is Wednesday, but it's my Friday. So y'all take care, y'all, and have a great one.